Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Blonde Café Podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Villanueva, and I'm your 29-year-old millennial gal just out here living my best life. And I'm here to help give you the tips, tricks, and tools to live your best life. And if you are new here, welcome. This is the best friend, big sister corner of the internet, where we tell you that all of your goals and your hopes and your dreams are not delulu. We got you on those quick, easy tips to get out of your own damn way and make those successful moves to get to where you want to be in life. We believe that life is not meant to be mediocre. Life is not meant to just, go through the motions and get to where you want to be at the end and say, oh my gosh, I did it. Life is meant to be enjoyed every freaking step of the way. So if you're here, welcome to the party. And I'm so happy to have you. And today I have written you all a permission slip. Yes, we are on the field trip to delulu land. We are on the field trip to dreamland. I think Graceland is where Elvis is from. Yeah, we could be there too. Elvis had big dreams. He had big goals. So we're on the bus. Okay. So strap in, get your snacks, get your Lunchable. We're on the bus. We are taking a field trip to dreamland. Okay. That is where I am writing you the permission slip. I filled out your paperwork. I filled out your form. We're going to go there. And this is part of our fall 2025 reset series. So if you don't know about it, this is our reset series before the holidays, before life gets crazy, to take some time for you, decide what you want in life, and go after it. Because like I said before, we believe that life is not meant to be mediocre. We believe life is meant to be enjoyed every step of the way. And no matter what that goal looks like to you, if that's your promotion, if that's your relationship you want to go after, if that's a certain lifestyle and job that you want to have, heck, if you even want to, if you want to start a family, if you want to start a side business, if you want that side business to become your full-time business, we got you, okay? We're giving you those mindset shifts. So today, I want you to get quiet. I want you to get still, and I want you to think about what you truly want in life. And I know I've said that before. I know we talk about that just about on every episode because that's what we do here at the Blonde Cafe. But I want you to get really, really still. And I'm purposely saying this slowly and diligently, which was not diligent because I just messed it up. But I'm saying this slowly to really get your mind to slow down. Because what happens is we get caught up in the hustle and bustle and we forget what we actually want in life. We get caught up with those day-to-day deliverables for our job. If you have a 9-to-5 or if you have even just like a shift job, we get caught up in the day-to-day, what the customer wants, what your boss wants, what your colleague wants. We get caught up with what your family wants, what your spouse, your kids, maybe even your pets. We get caught up with everybody else's wants and needs, and we forget to take time for ourselves. And if you're anything like me, you might be getting emotional right now if this is hitting home, because that is the point. That is where we do truly put ourselves last sometimes, especially if you're a woman listening to this. A lot of times women tend to put ourselves last because we think of everyone else's needs. Guys too. But a lot of times, when it comes to showering, you might even put everyone else before you even take a shower for the day. You might get up, take care of your dogs. You might get up, take care of your baby. Might get up, cook your husband breakfast before you even take care of the most basic needs for yourself. And that's where we're saying, we forget to dream. We forget to take a bird's eye, 10,000 foot view of our lives and say, what am I actually doing here? What do I actually want in life? Is this working for me? Is this lifestyle working for me? Is this health and wellness? Do I feel good in my body every day? And you might feel better some days than others, but do I feel like I am providing the best environment for not only myself, but for others as well? If you do have a spouse or pets or kids, or maybe you're a caretaker for your parents, sometimes you can feel like you lose yourself in that. And like I said, if you're getting emotional, it's okay. That's the intent here. And I'm not here to make you cry. I'm not here to make you feel bad about yourself. I'm here to say get back to yourself and get back to what do you want? Did you forget about maybe starting that Pilates class that you wanted to start 6 months ago because your car broke down and you had to pay for it? And so that's where that money went? Or did you forget that you actually do really want to start that skincare business, even though you've researched it 500 times and you're like, I know exactly what I need to do, but I'm just either afraid to make that either time investment or monetary investment, or I'm afraid to fail, or I'm afraid that it'll take time away from my spouse and my kids. And what are they going to do? Because they need me to cook breakfast and dinner and lunch and go to the store and clean the house. There are ways to get yourself in the spot that you want to be. It just might not be the path that you originally are on. And that's where I'm saying, like, we are taking a 10,000-foot view. We are doing it it's damn near October. October starts on Wednesday, Tuesday, tomorrow. I don't know, guys. What day is this? This is the 29th. So October starts on Wednesday. And that's where I'm saying this is your time to take that time for yourself. This is your time before the holidays, because that is like the number one place in the year where we put everyone else first. And then here comes January 1st, and we're like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be setting goals. Or, yeah, what do I want this year to look like? And suddenly you have no idea because you've spent the last like 2.5 months trying to figure out what everybody else wants. You're trying to figure out what Susie wants for Christmas. You're trying to figure out what your boss needs before the end of the year. You're trying to figure out how to get that bonus before the end of the year and make sure you meet those goals. You're forgetting what that actually looks like as far as happiness, as far as where you want to be in life. Maybe you do want to start a family, but something is holding you back. If that's like money, if that's, time spent with your spouse, if that's quality of life that you want to provide for your child, maybe that's holding you back. And maybe you're like, what steps do I need to take to get there? And this is where AI can be our friend. I've said this before. ChatGPT, baby, look it up. It's the new Google. It's the new encyclopedia. Before there was Google, there was encyclopedias. This is where we have literally the easiest tool at our fingertips. Google it. Go into ChatGPT. There's like dozens of them now. I don't even know what they're all called. But ask how you can get to where you want to be. Put in your goal. Just like entertain the idea. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, it doesn't have a human brain. It doesn't know, emotional constraints. It doesn't know certain nuances in life. But it's going to tell you straightforward how you can get there. It doesn't lie. It's a robot. It's literally programmed to give you the most linear information. And it sources all of this information on the internet. So it kind of takes yourself out of those emotions. It takes yourself out of that stress of that day to day where you're like forgetting what your end goal even is. And I'm not saying you have to like shoot for the moon and set all these crazy goals. I'm not saying you have to like girl boss to the moon, because I know that was a term back in the day. When I was graduating college, that was like girl boss era, circa 2014. Well, that was high school, but circa 2014 to 2018, that was the girl boss era where it's like you were hustling, you were bustling. I was getting those internships. I was making those career moves. Everybody was doing it. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm saying get real with yourself. If you don't feel like you're taking care of your body, if you don't feel like you're taking care of just your emotional and just brain needs, if you feel like you want to start a hobby, but you don't have time, if you feel like, yeah, you do want to make a walk every 20 minutes for every day, but you don't have time, that's where I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you like cooking dinner, but you don't have time, or you want to try new recipes, but you don't have time. That is what I'm talking about, y'all. That is what I'm saying. Or if you want to travel and see the world, but you haven't booked a trip since 2018, that's where we're getting real and raw and honest. Or if you want to start a relationship with somebody, Lord knows that we are not meant to be here on this earth alone. And I'm not even saying that. I know I use Lord knows as a figure of speech. I don't use it from a religious standpoint. We're not here to talk about, universe, religion, God, none of that. I talk about it from a general standpoint of human evolution, that we're wired to not go through life by ourselves. I've said that before and I'll say it again. We are wired for that genuine human connection. So if that's a relationship, put kid in yourself. Say, yes, I do want to put myself out there. Yes, I have maybe had breakups and terrible relationships in the past, or things haven't worked out the way I want. Or maybe, I'm not being true to myself and I'm going after somebody that I actually am like, I don't know if we're compatible. Maybe that's where you're like, let me switch it up. Let me try to put myself out there again. Let me put myself in environments where I can meet somebody. Maybe I'll go to a networking event. Maybe I'll go, sit at a restaurant and eat there, and you might stumble upon somebody, or a coffee shop, or just go out and about somewhere. Or maybe you're going to hop back on the dating apps. That's where my husband and I met. So, I'm not opposed to that either. There are so many different ways that you can approach it. But if that's truly one of your goals, maybe that's what you need to look at this year. And this is where you're getting a leg up. You are not feeling behind. You're not feeling like all of a sudden it's 2026 and you're like trying to hustle your way to meet your goals or figure out what you want to do in life, because we are getting ahead of it even before the holidays. We are getting ahead of it when life has started to slow down a little bit. We are in that gap. We are in that in between time. And that's what we're taking advantage of. Summertime is crazy. Summertime is busy. And then we go straight into fall, which, if you have kids, maybe they're going back to school, or maybe you're just like trying to fumble around and get yourself back situated because you've been traveling over the summer. Or, maybe you're actually starting to align and be like, okay, what do I need to budget out for the rest of the year? Because we've got Christmas, we've got trips, we've got, family visits, things like that. This is where we are putting ourselves first. Take yourself a long bath if you need to. Write down your goals, write down what you want. Take yourself a walk if you want. Write down your goals. Just think about it. Just start entertaining the idea. That is the purpose of this episode, is to get you to start thinking, start entertaining that, start just putting your brain in those wavelengths. Because like I've said before too, on previous episodes, obviously I'm not a neurologist, but it is proven that your brain reacts to what you consistently feed it. So if you consistently feed it like negativity and, that stress mindset and that part of yourself where you don't believe in your goals anymore because life has gotten in the way, that's what we're getting rid of. We're dusting off the cobwebs. We're taking it out. We are replacing those thoughts with neutral thoughts at the very least. At the very least, these neutral thoughts can say that there are other realities possible. If you don't like your job, there are other jobs possible. If you don't like your living conditions, there are other places to live. And you might say, yes, okay, I can't afford those places. Or you don't understand because I live 5 minutes away from my job and I can't afford more for gas. That's where we start entertaining the idea, what would it take to make up that $5 extra that it's going to take if you live 20 minutes away instead of 5 minutes away? Or what would it take to shift things around in your spend plan or in your budget? Or even if you don't like your job, what other jobs can you go after? And I'm not saying you have to have a college degree and you have to go looking for things that require a bachelor's degree in, I don't know, communications. I feel like that's a pretty standard one that people look at. I'm saying if that's not what you want, go pivot. Go work at Sephora if you want. Go work at Chick-fil-A. If you're like, I want something new. I want something different. Go work at a different 9 to 5, even if you don't feel like you're fully qualified. If you're like, okay, I've spent the last 10 years in marketing, but I want to switch to operations. You never know unless you try. And this is where I'm saying you can lean on other people. You can lean on your network. You can lean on your connections, and you can say, hey, if you know any openings, let me know. Or, hey, I do want to pivot to this part of the industry, and this is how I want to practice. Can I practice with you? And you give me feedback. Or, practice with yourself in the mirror. If you're interested in more career tips, I have an episode with my dad actually that I've interviewed him, and he has had multiple jobs throughout his life. He has been a very successful man in his career, and he owned his own business and is now retired. So he's got a little bit of perspective from like each walk of life. So if you're interested in more career tips, shameless plug, go check it out. It's from a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. Go listen to it. It's great. But what I'm saying here is that maybe you're just taking those baby steps to start acknowledging what you want to go after. Say you do want to start turning that side business into an actual, your livelihood, your work, your 9 to 5 is now what your side hustle used to be. Maybe that's where you say, okay, I'm going to start entertaining the idea. How do I actually make money at this? I love doing it. I love doing it on the side. Maybe you're breaking even, or maybe you've gotten a couple good gigs or a couple, good things that have happened to your business, but you just don't know how to get to that next step. That's where you enlist the help of other people. That's where you enlist the help, quite literally, of AI and ChatGPT. You Google it, it'll tell you how to get there. It will. And it'll take out the emotions, it'll take out the blockers. It doesn't have emotions. It's a robot. Like I said, it's just like if you were reading an encyclopedia back in the day, or if you were just straight up Googling things back in the day. Or even if you want to go really, really old school, Ask Jeeves. I don't know if anybody remembers that website, but I think it was like a little butler guy, Jeeves, kind of like that. Or if you had Cha-Cha, if you're like in that millennial era and you used to text the Cha-Cha number, I think it was like 4949 or something. I don't know, but it was a text. If you know, you know, it's one of those things. It's circa like MySpace era, like going into Tumblr era. But if you texted this number, like a certain question, it would text you back, but it was only between like certain hours. Like you would text it at like midnight because you thought of something random, and then it would text you back at like 8 a.m. the next day. Pretty sure it was probably somebody physically texting on a phone back then. Anyways, I digress. Use ChatGPT if you don't know, or ask a friend, ask a trusted family member, ask a colleague. And I'm not saying to ask your great aunt Susan that might not understand your goals. I'm not saying to ask that best friend that kind of drains your energy, but you're like, okay, yes, like she's my friend because I love X, Y, and Z, but I don't necessarily feel comfortable telling my hopes and dreams. I'm not telling you to go ask that person. I'm saying ask the people that are going to tell you what you want to hear, because you need that momentum. You need that pep talk. You need to hear that your dreams are not delulu. That's what we're talking about. And I know this is like against the grain because so much of freaking media nowadays is about the negative. It's using a scarcity mindset. It's using that fear-based mindset. And I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into the media, but I'm saying that 90% of what is on our news feeds into that fear-based mindset because it's easy. It's a marketing tactic, y'all. For lack of a better word, I have a marketing degree. I am in the marketing industry. I have learned the psychology behind it. And this is where we are reversing it. We are saying that you actually can achieve your dreams. We are saying that you just have to put those methods in place, even though you might have blocks along the way. Like I said before, your car might literally blow up on the highway and there goes thousands of dollars because now you have to get a new car and the insurance didn't kick in for like a year. I got you. Okay. There are ways that you can move past things. Sucky things happen in life. You might have to spend unexpected money that you didn't account for. You might have someone important in your life pass away that completely derails you for a few weeks, and you're not even sure, like you're not even taking care of yourself really. You're just going through the motions. That's okay. You might have that person that, that life circumstance that you get kicked out of your apartment because of X, Y, and Z. Life happens. What matters most is getting back on the wheel, getting back on the wagon, and saying, I know that I can do better. And I'm not saying like, put yourself up on a pedestal and think that everyone else is below you. I'm saying that you gotta want a good life for yourself. You gotta want that truly in your heart. Because if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you also believe that life is not meant to be mediocre. And that doesn't mean that you can't be content where you're at. If you're perfectly content, then say, okay, what do I want to do more of next year? Do I really love the fitness class that I'm a part of? And maybe I want to go for the unlimited membership. Or maybe I love going 3 days a week and I absolutely love my life. And I'm just going to make sure that I continue loving my life. I'm going to make sure that I am happy and that I am fulfilled. And then maybe that'll spark something later. Maybe that's where you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to want a new hobby next year, or I don't know if I'm going to want to go on a new trip next year. If you're perfectly content, then that's cool too. But you'll eventually find something that you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I do want to go to Denver. That'd be nice. And then you can plan that trip. But this is where I'm saying you can do the things that you want to do. And that's, like I said before, I'm getting quiet. I'm getting real. I'm getting still, because your dreams are possible. And despite what everybody tells you, despite your boss's needs at the day-to-day basis, despite your husband's needs, your kids' needs, your dog's needs on the day-to-day basis, you deserve to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Like I said, if it's career, if it's relationships, if it's health, if it's just a certain lifestyle you want to live, hell, if you want to afford to get your nails done every month, if you want to afford to go buy that nail polish that you love or go buy that outfit that you love without it putting you in a tough spot financially, you don't have to feel guilty for being materialistic. You're not even being materialistic, really. Like, you are just embracing what life has to offer. We're not meant to go through this by ourselves. We're not meant to go through this not enjoying life's offerings and suffering just because, we don't know how to get out of something or we don't know how to move past a roadblock. We're moving past those roadblocks. And if you guys want more tips, head over to Instagram. I'm on there every day. I'm sharing you like small tips, tricks, and tools to live your best life, like we've talked about. I'm telling you that the dreams that you think are delulu are actually possible. You just have to get there. You have to put one foot in front of the other because those small changes are what make those big shifts. It's that difference between, saying I ate donuts for breakfast and that wasn't part of my diet that I'm on. And, I use the word diet loosely, but that wasn't part of what I've been planning to eat to take care of my body. So then saying screw it and eat a hamburger and french fries and then a pizza for dinner. We're not about that, y'all. We're about saying, yes, I enjoyed those freaking donuts. I love those donuts and I'm going to move on. And maybe I'll just make a little different choice for lunch or make a different choice for dinner. We're not beating ourselves up. We're not telling ourselves that we have to give up on our dreams just because we got derailed a little bit. We are telling ourselves that everything we want in life is possible. We are operating in that frequency. We are getting ahead of the game because it is fall, it is October, holidays are around the corner. You're going to be focused on everybody else's needs. So now this is the time to reset your factory setting to taking care of yourself so you can get a little bit of a leg up. And then when January comes rolling around, you're not feeling behind. You're not feeling stressed. You're not feeling like you have to go in overdrive mode. You're feeling like, okay, I got this. I already started making these habits. I already started making these routines. And the holidays might throw you off. They quite literally probably will, honestly. They might throw you off of your health and wellness goals. You might not be able to get to the gym as many days because either you're traveling or you have to go shopping after work instead of going to the gym because you only have like 2 hours to go do it. That's all right. We're saying, and you might be eating McDonald's 3 days in a row because you're trying to make time for everything. That's all right. That's where we make those small, tiny shifts. So then those big changes aren't as scary. That's the point. So if you guys like these tips, feel free to leave me a comment, leave me a review, head over to Instagram. Like I said, we're also on TikTok if you're there. Head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I am so happy to have you guys in our corner of the internet. Like I said before, we are your big sister. We are your best friend energy. We are here to tell you that all your dreams that you think are delulu are quite literally possible. We are getting quiet. We are getting still. And I am taking you guys along with me on my journey because I am also going after my dreams by recording this podcast and by, blowing up my Instagram and getting on a living 757 show. I'm going after my own dreams. So that's why I'm encouraging you guys to do yours. So if you like this, let me know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This does conclude our fall reset series. So if you don't know, the past 2 episodes that I've recorded are the fall reset series. We're diving into ourselves before things get crazy with the holidays and the new year. So this is that last final mindset piece that I'm giving you guys. And then now we're going to turn into different episodes as the weeks go on. So if you don't know, we have weekly episodes every single week. I'm there, you're there, we have a date. Let's do it. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.